So the brand new weekly missions are finally here, and it's time to get them completed so you can get even closer to that juicy level 100 Battle Pass skin. My name's Craig from ljstudios, and in today's video I'm going to be your one-stop shop to guide you through all the missions released this week, giving you a walkthrough along with tips and tricks for the absolute best ways on how to get them done. And of course, if you liked the video or found it helpful in any way, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on so you can stay tuned for all the latest news in Fortnite. So as we all know, since Season 10 dropped, the game has had a huge change in how challenges are presented. We used to get weekly challenges, but now we've had a slight name and a UI change, and now they are presented as weekly missions. These missions have a title name and a set of challenges below. Each mission has 7 normal challenges and 7 prestige challenges, which are basically supposed to be tougher to complete. When you first look at a challenge, only 3 are open to complete, but as you progress and complete each one, another challenge is unlocked for you to finish off. Once all of the 7 normal challenges have been completed, you have the option to prestige those missions and do the tougher prestige missions. The normal missions do yield better rewards, most of them being 10 battle stars, which is basically a whole battle pass level, while the prestige has certain battle pass rewards, mostly skin variants along with some extra XP. Today we're going to be looking at the brand new Week 8 Storm Racer missions that are now available, so let's crack on with the challenges. First up, we have the Gain Health in the Storm challenge. This one pretty much speaks for itself here. You simply have to, well, gain health in the storm. Best way to get this one done completed as quick as possible is to jump into a solos game, but you can also go into Team Rumble to complete more challenges than one. That's basically what I did. But once you're in, head to a quiet area where not a lot of people drop and loot up. What you're looking for here ideally is either a bunch of bandages or some chug splashes. Bandages heal you for 25 HP at a time, but it won't let you heal past 65 out of 100. But as you're standing in a storm, your health is obviously going to be going down, so you don't have to worry about that 65 cap. And you're only going to need 4 bandages to actually complete the challenge. Chug splashes will do too, as they heal for 20 HP per splash, so you'll need 5 in total. But when you hit 100% health, a chug splash will replenish your shield, so be careful not to hit full HP or you're just going to waste those splashes. Oh, and don't forget to at least grab a couple of guns. You're going to be kicking yourself if you loot up with bandages and some chug splashes, and then you get to the storm and get one-shotted. Once in the storm, build a nice little 1x1 to protect yourself and start healing up until you've completed the challenge. There, see, that was a nice little easy one to start off with. Next up, we've got the Complete a Lap of a Racetrack challenge. So basically there are 3 racetracks in total in the game. 1 near Happy Hamlet, 1 in the desert biome, and 1 east of Junk Junction. You can go to either of them and they all supply vehicles to complete the challenge. For this I went to the racetrack east of Junk Junction. It's the shortest map of the 3 to complete, but remember to make sure that the race has actually started before going off. I did it a bunch of times and it was really stupid. So there should be a countdown on the board that will show you, and when the light hits green, rings will start to appear around the racetrack. That's your indicator that it's time to race. Simply head around the track following the path laid out in the tracks, and once you pass the ring, you would have completed the challenge. Next up, we've got the Survive Storm Stages challenge. Again, this one is pretty obvious. You have to survive each storm stage throughout the game, and you should just complete this naturally from playing games, no matter your playstyle. If you're a pro and can easily get to the final few, then yeah, great, do that. But if you're not that great at the game, you can do the famous bush hiding technique that seems to be super effective. A normal game of solos, duos and squads has 10 stages of the storm circle, so it is possible to complete this in one game. However, after some intense mathematical equations along with countless hours of research, I've discovered a way for you to complete this without even playing the game. Okay, it's not that clever. All you gotta do is set up a game of Team Rumble and just simply walk away from the game. It doesn't matter if you die because of the respawn. Now you're usually gonna see about 2 storm stages completed in a game of Team Rumble. Depending how your team does and how fast the game ends, it can sometimes be 1. Now bear in mind with this challenge, you have to wait for the storm to completely close into the circle for it to actually count. Next up, we've got Visit the Center of a Storm Circle challenge. Again, this one is pretty easy. You just basically have to hover near a purple lightning item from the center of the circle. Now the best way to complete this is by jumping into a game of Team Rumble, and as soon as you leave the party bus, deploy your glider and just wait for the circle to appear. Then hover on over to the center of the circle and land, or just hover over it to collect the purple storm icon and complete the challenge. Now the reason I like to do it in Team Rumble is basically because of respawn. You're not going to run the risk of somebody shooting you before you get to that center of the circle, and also how quick the circle is actually formed, but you do have to wait until the end of the game to complete the challenge. You can't just drop out of the game, otherwise it doesn't count. So if you do want to get this done as quick as possible, then solo might be your best bet. Again, use the same technique. As soon as you can leave the bus, deploy your glider and just wait for that first circle to form, hover on over it, go to the center and collect the icon. Next challenge we've got is the Land on Polar Peak, a volcano and a hilltop with circle of trees. Now this is another nice and easy one for us. As it says, all you need to do is land on the locations in the description, so Polar Peak and the volcano are pretty obvious ones. but the hilltop with circle of trees might not be so obvious. You're going to see in the gameplay now where the tree location is. Now if you're really wanting to get this one completed as quick as possible and you don't really care about your kill death ratio, then best option is to just jump in a game of solos, and as soon as you land at the location, just pop yourself off the ledge so you get wiped out, or like me, you can completely fail at attempting to take yourself out. And now we've got the complete a time trial east of Pleasant Park or southwest of Salty Springs challenge. Time trials have been in the challenges since season 5, so if you are an OG player then you're going to know exactly what these are by now. But for people who don't know what they are, time trials are by certain RV vans around the map, and to complete them you simply just need to run up to the stopwatch and accept the challenge. Then you just need to follow and collect all the other stopwatches until you complete the challenge. Obviously time is going to be against you on this, so you do have to collect them pretty swiftly, but usually the RVs will have drift boards up against them that you can use, but in all honesty you don't actually need them, you can easily collect them all on foot. So I'm going to show you the locations. First up, we've got the time trial location east of Pleasant Park. Here's the location and I'll show you exactly where it is, but just a word of warning, if you're completing this within the first few days of the challenge being released, players do tend to troll you when attempting it. If they land before you do, they will grab whatever gun they can get their grubby little hands on to take you out before you can complete the challenge. They're either trying to fill the evil void in their life, or they're so bad at the game that it's the only way for them to secure kills. Anyway, the same happened to me when attempting this at Pleasant Park. I start the trial and get taken out by a pistol. It's super annoying, but it is the standard on these challenge days. Next we've got the time trial location for southwest of Salty Springs. Here's the location on the map and I'll show you exactly where it is now. Simply land here, accept the trial and start running. Once you've collected the last one, that's the challenge complete and you can move on to the next one. Now we've got another easy one to complete called Dance at Different Telescopes. There's 3 to dance at in total, and I'm going to have a map on the screen now to show you the exact locations. All you're going to need to do is land, dance your little bun off, and then either continue on with the game, or if you really want to get this done as fast as possible, and again you don't care for your kill death ratio, just launch yourself off the edge to fall to your impending doom. Once all 3 are done, then the challenge is complete. Alright guys, so now it's time to prestige the missions. Head to the challenge menu and go to the mission Storm Racer. You're going to have the option now to prestige it. Once it's prestige, a new set of challenges will appear. First up, we've got the damage an opponent in the storm challenge. Now it is going to be hard to give you a specific walkthrough for this one, as there's no game mode that guarantees opponents in the storm that you can easily farm. You're going to pretty much get this one done over time, and if you want the best odds of getting it completed as quick as possible, I probably wouldn't go for Team Rumble, as you're going to be less likely to find opponents in the storm there. I would say that solos is going to be your best option here. Try to land somewhere that's popular but not in the center. Hopefully then the storm gods are going to be on your side, or technically not on your side, and will put the safe circle far away from you. From there, all you need to do is stalk your enemies until you find a lost soul in the storm and then take him out. Actually, thankfully for this challenge you don't have to actually finish an enemy off in the storm. You can land as little as 1 point of damage to complete the challenge, which makes it a tad bit less stressful. So the next challenge is damage gliding opponents, and there's really only one game mode that works well for this, and that of course is Team Rumble. Hop into a game, pick up your favourite mid to long range gun and look for any gliding enemies. Aim, shoot, rinse, repeat. It really won't take long to complete. You only need to do 100 damage after all. Next up is deal damage to opponents after the first circle closes challenge. The choice of game mode for this one, again of course, is Team Rumble. You're easily going to get this one completed in one game. Simply hop into a gameplay as normal and the points will start racking up when you do damage to enemies after the first circle closes. There's really not any extra explanation needed for this one. All you need to do is 500 points worth of damage here, which you can easily do in one game. Next up, we've got visit the center of storm circles in a single match. Now this one you can do in Team Rumble as long as the match doesn't end too fast, but on an average match it's quite easy to complete. So what you basically want to do for this one is deploy your glider as soon as you leave the bus and wait for the first circle to form. Once it's formed, head down to the center and float over the purple storm icon. After that, just basically play the game as normal, and every time a new storm circle is formed, just head to the center and collect the purple storm icon. Again, this one is super easy to complete and there isn't any crazy tips for this one. I'd probably say that solos is a bit more risky if you want this done fast, but Team Rumble is a less stressful one to go for. Next up, we've got deal any amount of full damage to an opponent. Now this one is either going to be really easy for you to complete or be an absolute pain. And I'm kind of in two minds with what game mode is better. On one hand, you've got solos, and now now that there's no gliders and solos, you could just wait for 2 people to get into a build fight and just take down their builds to get this one done easily. But on the other hand, you could just jump into a game of Team Rumble and look out for anybody standing on buildings at least 4 stories high. Sometimes you might get lucky and you can take out a structure and they won't actually deploy their glider in time, but majority of the time people are smarter than that and they will use their glider. For this one, I would say either wait to complete over time or go with whatever game mode you feel the most comfortable with. Next, we've got complete a time trial north of Lucky Landing or east of Snobby Shores. I'll put the 2 locations on the screen now and then show off both spots. Now basically this is going to be the same thing as the normal trials in the mission set, but these ones are slightly more annoying to complete. The best tip I can give you guys is that when you're gliding down to the stopwatch, look out for trees or rocks that are close by and land there instead. Gather some resources as you're going to need them to complete the challenge. It's not as simple as the normal one as you'll need to build up to collect the stopwatches. Overall, it's not too difficult and shouldn't give you too much of a headache. If you're still with me at this point in the video, then thank you for sticking around. Let me know in the comments below if you made it this far by commenting, "I'm still here, your challenge guides are awesome." Don't worry, we're almost done. For the last challenge, all you need to do is dance at 2 different telescopes in a single match. Now, I'm going to mark all the telescopes on the map now in red and then mark the 2 closest together and the most ideal to go for in blue. Team Rumble again is the choice of game mode for this one, purely for the fact that you get gliders. The 2 closest telescopes are literally across the river from each other on 2 mountains, so just land on one, do a jiggle, then glide across to the other one and do another jiggle, and that's it, challenge complete. It didn't even feel like a prestige challenge, to be honest. One thing I didn't actually mention earlier is the Batman crossover event limited time Gothic challenges. Now these will be released over time and I'll go over the Batman event in more detail on another video, but the one available at the time of Storm Racers coming out is deal damage to opponents in a single match, a total of 500 points. You get this one completed when you go after deal damage to opponents after the first circle closes challenge, but to be honest, you'll probably easily get this done in one game of Team Rumble. And with that, our guide is complete. If you follow everything, then you have all of this week's challenges completed, eagerly waiting for next week's challenges. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, remember to hit that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest Fortnite news. Alright, that's it from me today. I'll see you all in the next one.